What's going on, Raptors fans? Toronto Hoop Talk checking in today to talk to you guys about the Raptors' 10-point win against the Heat in Summer League yesterday. Now, they managed to win the game, but honestly, it felt like a loss because they needed to win by more than 18 to make the Summer League championship game. And they did have a lead over 18 during the game in the second half, but they only ended up winning by 10 points. The Miami Heat made a bit of a comeback towards the end. Honestly, it wasn't close. By the time the game had like 4 minutes left, realistically, it was already over. The Raptors were not getting the lead back up to over 18. So yeah, disappointing finish, but there are still some takeaways we can talk about. To start with Delano Banton, his game was fine, you could say, as a whole. Had 18 points, nothing special, but it's not bad either. 1 for 3 from 3, so that's cool too. The biggest takeaway for him was that he had 6 turnovers, and he's been turning the ball over a lot during Summer League. And honestly, that's the most concerning thing about his game up to this point. We know with Delano Banton, a really important thing for him is going to be three-point shooting. And to be honest, as a whole, he's had a good Summer League in terms of three-point shooting. So you feel good about that. But it's almost like we get that, and now we have to worry about turnovers, because even if his three-point shot gets him on the court, if he turns the ball over at a rate that he has in Summer League at the NBA level, which is obviously a tougher level to play basketball at, he won't stay on the court. So our whole thing was always like, hey, man, the guy's got to shoot three so he can get on the court. But now it seems like he has this other thing we have to concern ourselves with so that he even stays on the court. On to DJ Wilson. He did not do much to build upon or sustain his performance in the last game. I think he was one of our lowest point scorers in this game. 4 points, didn't shoot the ball well, got more minutes as a small ball 5. Those weren't good minutes for him personally or the Raptors as a team. Definitely a discouraging game for DJ Wilson. Hopefully he can bounce back in the next game. On to Christian Koloko. Definitely not a good game offensively. Touch around the basket wasn't particularly good, as it's been the whole Summer League. Yeah, when the ball gets to him, sometimes he'll make good decisions, but a lot of the times he doesn't. But it's the defensive side of the game that really stood out for him. Now, in the third quarter, and I'd say the first half of the fourth, he was pretty dominant as a paint defender. He was impacting shot after shot. He blocked around 3, I think. He got his hands in passing lanes, got like 3 steals, I want to say. Yeah, he did a really good job of just giving Miami nothing easy around the basket. I'm obviously not too familiar with Miami's Summer League team, but just looking at them, they don't look like the biggest team. And he really did well using his size to just make it really difficult for Miami to get anything around the basket. It was really encouraging to see. You look at these kind of moments and you think, okay, this is a guy's ceiling defensively. This is a guy that can impact shot after shot and make life hell for other teams around the basket, and he definitely did that for stretches in the game. On to Harper Jr., he scored 14 points. He got his highest point tally by far so far in the Summer League, and you'd think it probably came off threes, right? Because he's supposed to be a three-point shooter, but he shot 1 for 4 from 3. He got all those points off twos. He had some good off-ball cuts, but to be honest with Harper Jr., despite the fact that this was his best performance in terms of point scoring, I still don't think this helped me learn anything about the kind of player he is or like more about his skill set. Harper Jr. is very much still a player that's going to be in the G League for all, if not most of the season next year. He's a player that needs the reps at that level, and hopefully next year we'll have a better idea of the kind of player he is. On to Dowden Jr. Now, he had a really steady game as a whole. He had 8 rebounds, which led the team in rebounds, and he's one of our smaller players, so that shows you where his hustle levels are at. He also had 16 points. He scored them efficiently, had 5 assists. He got those efficiently as well, didn't turn the ball over, took care of the ball, chipped in defensively as well, did his job. He's just a reliable, mistake-free player, and he chips in all different ways of the game. He plays defense, runs the offense, makes shots when he needs to. Just a very reliable player, and again, the Raptors could rely on him today to be one of our better players. On to Armani Brooks. Now, he followed up his 1 for 10 performance from 3 in the last game with a 3 for 12 performance in this game. So clearly this guy is not shy. He does not lack in confidence at all. The fact that he wasn't hitting his 3 in the last game didn't discourage him, and he got to 10. And in this game, even though he wasn't making them at a high rate, he kept shooting them. Now, he hit a couple really difficult threes. It looked like he hit like a 30-footer in somebody's face at some point. He was like well before the three-point line with that shot. Just a guy who clearly, like, his mentality on a basketball court is very good. The guy he hustles really hard on defense. He doesn't let his like confidence drop with his shot at all. So you like that part of his game, but ultimately, like offensively, he is limited. His 3-point shot is a big part of what he does on the court offensively. And at the end of the day, he shot 4 for 22 in the last 2 games, and that's not good enough. So it's a tough call to make with Armani, because you understand why the Raptors like him, you understand how he fits into our team and addresses a need, but ultimately it's just not good enough. So we'll see with Armani. You have to hope that the threes fall at a higher rate because he needs it, but it just hasn't the last couple of days. Last and unfortunately probably least is David Johnson. He had 0 points, 0 for 4 shooting, and honestly a game that's just been a continuation of what Summer League's been like for him so far. He hasn't shown that he does anything at a particularly high level, and it's hard to even pick out what his intentions are on a basketball court. Like when he steps on a basketball court, what does he intend to do and how does he intend to impact a basketball game? It's even hard to pick that out. So he's clearly a player that needs to be in the G League. You look at a guy like Dowden Jr. and you say, hey, I want that guy in training camp because I think he could probably take somebody's roster spot and he could probably impact a basketball game, and I can see how he would do that. With David Johnson, that's not the case. Honestly, I don't even know what the point would be giving him a training camp spot. So realistically, this is a guy who should be on the 905. I don't know if they want to give him another two-way. I don't know if he would want another two-way. But yeah, this is a guy who has to hit the 905, work on his game, and start to develop some consistency in at least 1 or 2 aspects of his game. That's all for my observations. So if I missed anything, as always, throw it in the comments. I had a blast live tweeting the game on Twitter again. Make sure you find me on Twitter at TorontoHoopTalk. There's going to be another game against Milwaukee on Sunday at 4, so I'll be back at it for that game as well. We'll post another recap on YouTube. We'll be live tweeting the game on Twitter. So make sure to look out for that. And yeah, hopefully the Raptors finish Summer League strong. I'll catch you guys around. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave your thoughts in the comments, and find me on all socials at TorontoHoopTalk.